always the vision and the point was, well, digital fashion is so big in the industry that we see today, so it's almost inevitable that will translate into these digital realms. And so when we do that, we have to make sure that, we can have this full cycle to really drive market concentration and demand into a utility environment where people can really use this digital fashion and they can interact with it. And of course, that's really important when you think about what I was talking about from a sustainability point of view, of really bringing in designers and enabling them to create careers, create livelihoods, economic jobs and growth, because that was really always the biggest stage for this. So how we started, for those that have been, following the project or aware of our project since we really launched back in around November, December last year, was to start with, using NFTs as this really, native digitally distribution channel, and being able to build out a scalable supply chain for fashion and for digital fashion. And this is where we introduced really interesting concepts like fractional garment ownership, which involved how you used NFTs and their features of the technology to actually be able to break down a master digital fashion garment into its modular patterns, materials, and texture components. So independent artists could come in and they could issue different patterns, materials, and textures along this supply chain that could then be leveraged into the master garment. And that brings about whole new licensing and monetization and royalty distribution models, which was really exciting. And we worked with a number of crypto artists on that side as well. So this then brings me into what I've kind of been talking about before, which was how did we then go to our next stage, which was applying this into the digital fashion, into application, into utility, which at the moment is very much gaming, VR, it's live 3D content. That's where that sits. How could we drive that into these environments into a way that actually made sense? Because, it's digital fashion isn't its standalone market segment at the moment. And if you're a digital fashion designer, even a brand, and you come into the space, and if you want to, work with the game or get accepted, it's very siloed and vertically siloed. So, you might work with Fortnite and you might brand there, but then if you want to go to GTA or if you want to go, somewhere else, it's very siloed. There's no like horizontal distribution. And that's really what we wanted to solve as well, is how do we establish as a marketplace that allows, any fashion designer to come in and they can have access to all of this content, rather than it just being these siloed partnerships that aren't scalable and they're not sustainable for the designer either. So this is where we came up with and launched the concept of Esper. And Esper is something super exciting. It's actually going live in just a few days. And we've integrated on Matic network, the layer 2 Matic, to actually enable this to go live in a more, financially sustainable way as well, when it comes to gas fees. And really what we're doing is onboarding a lot of players into this ecosystem. But Esper is the first esports platform for particularly highlighting indie developers and modded developer content for gaming, for VR, for live 3D content. So you can think of Esper like a layer 2 solution, kind of how I've drawn it here, a layer 2 solution on top of, gaming, VR, live 3D content that isn't blockchain based. It doesn't have to be, quote unquote, blockchain and gaming. It can be anything from a modded, indie game built on Unity to something more, well-defined and operating like Fortnite, like GTA, like these bigger AAA titles. But we're really starting with a focus on the indie developers and mods to start with. And how it works is that Esper allows these content creators and developers to plug in to showcase their content through our platform. And this looks through our beta, which we're launching in a few days. It's customized through there, but eventually you can think of it, like a platform and an app that you can log into on your desktop or your mobile anytime. It's this whole idea of casual esports. So esports now is very much tournament driven. You have to, go to the event or log in at a specific time. We're introducing this idea of casual esports, which would allow anyone to plug in at any time if they're a player. They, start playing in these different content. So they log in, they choose the content that they'd like to engage with, and then they start playing. And when they start playing, we're actually able to track their results and their scores, which puts them on a leaderboard. And when they get on this leaderboard, depending on, global and local metadata from within the game, they can actually win or be at the top of these leaderboards. And then they get paid out in our native cryptocurrency Mono token as an actual income stream and a livelihood generator for them. which is something really amazing when you think about the gaming industry today, how cutthroat it is and how hard it is for players to be able to really break in and make a living through play, which is, they have a love for the game and they're not able to do that. And then also for indie developers and content creators showcasing their content, they're also paid out in this cryptocurrency, in Mona, as another additional livelihood and career stream for them, which is something really uplifting and amazing for them as well when you think about often how they're discarded as undervalued people and assets within the industry. So that's the first stage of Esper, but the core and probably what you're wondering is, well, where's the fashion side and how does that really come in? Well, Esper was built around digital fashion being at the core and digital fashion actually being the driver for sustainability, for scalability, for just existence of this whole platform, which is something really amazing as well when you think about, usually within this industry, well, fashion is and sorry, I have to quickly get my laptop charger. Fashion is a really, I guess, on the outskirts industry as well. It's not seen as, sorry guys, give me 1 minute, I'm just plugging in. It's really seen, as not a standalone industry within the market, like I was describing before. So really what we wanted to do with Esper was make sure that it was, really highlighted within this and the importance was there. And what that means is, and how this works within our system is that we work with digital fashion designers, graphic designers, 3D, and they come on and they're the kind of third ecosystem player besides the players and the developers. The third ecosystem participant is the digital fashion designer. So they create all these awesome outfits. They list them on our marketplace that then can be directly taken by a player in-game. And how it actually works is that these digital fashion NFTs and these items that the designers are actually listing on our marketplace, they actually act as the player's identity markers and authenticators in-game. So they're not just a cosmetic appeal within the game, they're actually a functionality within the Esper metagame, which is something really amazing when you think about, how do you actually also ensure that functional application utilities is embedded into digital fashion from a core level, not just from, a more cosmetic in-game level. So, so they list their items in our marketplace and then players come on, they choose the items that they want under different categories of semi-rare, common, exclusive, that we introduced these degrees of exclusivity back in January. And they choose these digital fashion items that they can then skin themselves with and then take themselves into these games. And when they're wearing the fashion, this actually ensures that they can be eligible to be considered on the leaderboard and engage in these esports battles. And that's from a leaderboard and authentication system. And eventually, as we scale this out, it's about how do you embed more of the core features and technologies of the blockchain around authentication, around trust, around transparency through these digital fashion NFTs. How do you allow that through these digital fashion NFTs to flow through into the different gaming content without actually forcing the gaming content to go and build on blockchain? Like rather than saying to, some of these games, well, you've got to go and get your team to learn Solidity and integrate all these different mechanics. Well, instead, they can plug into Esper through a simple SDK through us, and then the leverage off our marketplace and off our player authentication system that then allows these digital fashion assets to be spawned in-game and the players to be identified and then effectively tracked within the esports, casual esports battles that they're playing within game. So that's really the core of it. And how it works is that the profit distribution from the marketplace is split between the designers, developers, and players. And there's more mechanics that we're bringing in later around this, but to start with, it's more of a vanilla profit distribution split between these, between these sales and the degree of exclusivity of the digital fashion item. So depending on whether it's common, it's semi-rare, or exclusive, also determines the player's access within the game. So how long they actually have to compete within the esports battles, because it is this idea of casual esports where you can plug in and play at any time. It's not just really concentrated in time tournaments. So a common item will give you less longevity within the Esper ecosystem than, say, an exclusive item within a particular content creation piece. And this is a really unique concept as well, because it's the whole idea that gaming shouldn't be play to win. We don't want that. We don't want people paying, who are paying higher amounts for an outfit to have an unfair advantage within the game or within the esports battle. It doesn't work like that. Rather, it's just that the outfits these digital fashion garments determine different functionalities within the Esper metagame. So it's never within the local in-game environment, but rather how the player can operate and interact with the esports system within Esper, which is something really, exciting as well when you think about how do you make this sustainable and really level it up. So yeah, that's the bigger concept. And, it's really exciting, and we were going to be launching actually a few weeks ago, but we decided to make the shift onto Matic just because of a big part of this is how do you actually bring mass adoption of crypto and the features of NFTs that we're seeing today, with a lot of hype, but still there's so many people that haven't onboarded, that so much to go. So gaming is one of these biggest categories of how do you actually onboard people into crypto, into NFTs in a way that isn't as confronting when it comes to just interacting with this new Web3 environment and technology. And that's really what we've done with Esper as well, is how do you make it in a way where it's not just the players that have to be less confronted coming in, but also the devs and the designers. How do you do it in a way where they don't really have to fully interact, but they also are able to get exposure to the full ecosystem as well. So that's something really exciting with this, and we're launching on Matic for the kind of the stages and going forward for as long as we see fit until Ethereum kind of goes into its next stage of proof of stake. But the exciting thing, I guess, more, which is really cool, which I can share here, is that we're actually launching with Among Us with their modding ecosystem, which is really huge if anyone knows about that. And we've partnered with modders in the ecosystem from a graphics side, from a game functionality side, and we partnered with Sheriff Woody, the developer, the OG developer of the Among Us Sheriff mod, which is a really cool and fun mod to play if a lot of you have heard about it or know about the gaming ecosystem with Among Us. So we have cool Among Us digital fashion items that are going live on our Matic Marketplace tomorrow, actually. And these digital fashion items can be taken directly into the game. They were made by a really cool, I'll see if I can get up a really amazing young modder and designer in the ecosystem, Kota Medachi. She's based in Brazil, and she's, absolutely amazing. She created all these really cute Among Us outfits that will be listed on our marketplace as digital fashion NFTs and can be spawned directly into the mod game through Esper and through what we're doing, and people can play in these Among Us esports battles and have them authenticated through the items. So we have these 3 categories of common items, semi-rare items, and then exclusive items. And the items, as I said, they were made by Kota Medachi, and then they were inspired by Charlie Cohen. Charlie Cohen, she's a London physical fashion designer, and she's an anarchist herself, and she's all about how do you push the realms of fashion and technology. She's worked with Adidas and Assassin's Creed, so a really inspiring and amazing designer there as well. So we partnered with her to actually inspire the inspire the outfits themselves that then Kota Medachi created to go directly in the game. So this is something really cool, and we have this. Oh, turn the music off here, but we we partnered with. This whole thing was partnering with a lot of creators in the ecosystem to highlight them and bring them forward. And someone like Kota Medachi, she's 18 and she's from Brazil. She talks about a lot of her story, but she's grown up in really poor financial conditions, and she found passion and love through gaming and creating in-game skins. So she's so inspiring, and someone that we really wanted to highlight through this drop was how do you bring a voice back to these true creators? Because what we've seen in this, big kind of bull run of NFTs is that a lot of, there's been a lot of now manipulation coming to space where some bigger artists that are trying to flex their power and say, well, no, I can manipulate still the younger artists and create this pyramid structure, which was the whole thing that NFTs was breaking the bounds of, was how do you just give directly back to the artist? And this is why it's so, exciting, and why I'm so excited with Esper and what we're doing is that we're able to now create a really robust ecosystem between designers, between developers, and between players, where they can all come in, they can all give value, they can all take value, and create a structure that is sustainable and it's scalable for the future, and it really benefits them all. And highlighting young artists like Kota Medachi, who's doing schoolwork and then coming back and creating these awesome outfits and really has had a really tough growing up, I would say, and she would talk about her story, and I'm sure she'd love to even come on here and talk about it more. But really, how do you highlight her and give her a platform through us to, reach a bigger stage or reach more exposure and continue with doing her passion, which is, really cool within gaming and fashion. So they're the main updates, and they're really exciting. And we have our new Esper website. I'm sure a lot of you might have entered it yet. The Play Now, it's coming soon. Same with the sign in. But you can kind of see here we had an amazing artist that we worked with, May from the Philippines, and she did all of these like really cool graphics and that, and she's come on board our team now. But it's this whole thing between developers, designers, and players. But ultimately what it will allow when we're live, it will take you through Play Now and this whole flow, because a big part of this, as I said, is how do we mass adopt players into this ecosystem who are first-time crypto users. So we're integrating, even Arcane and these kind of wallet solutions as well, which allow them an easier onboarding and instead of MetaMask and saying, here, take this private key and never lose it. Arcane has solutions where they're able to sign up with email with still high security. So integrating that as well. But Play Now, you'll be able to come on. You'll be able to go through this A to B flow, which will take you through exactly how you enter Esper, how you engage with our system. And then our marketplace on Matic will be listing these really cool items for auction. These exclusive, these are one of one. They'll be going for auction. And then we have the semi-rare and the common items, which will be instant buy and have a lot more additions. So people can come, you can buy these items, you can take them into the mod and just casually play around. But then also you can get engaged with the actual esports battles and then play to earn income streams through Mona, through this core utility that we have, that ecosystem. So yeah, they're the main updates. It's a lot of exciting stuff and a lot more to it. After this, we're launching with more games and bringing them into Esper to really start building it out further. So maybe I'll stop there and let anyone who has any questions or comments to that, please feel free to unmute and or type in the chat and ask anything. When I haven't actually been keeping up with the chat, so maybe there's some questions there. But yeah, please feel free to ask anything. I can answer that from now.
Hey, Emma, this is Sandy. I have a question. Can we still beta test with ESPA?
Yeah, sure. So beta test is maybe, sorry, the term was a bit misleading, like anyone can join. How you beta test is, there's a few ways. So to just play in the mod for fun, you just download, and we'll have this live on our site, like by tomorrow, all of the kind of structures, but you can just download the mod and start playing. But if you also want to beta test and go on these esports battles, then that just involves buying an outfit from our marketplace. This is what then verifies you in game as being eligible under our authentication system to be eligible for the Mona token payouts and income streams. So anyone can beta test. It's not a closed beta; it's an open beta where anyone can come in anytime. It's not going to just be like a one-time event. It's a whole idea of casual esports. So you can buy from the marketplace, buy for these outfits, and the barrier to entry now, because we're really going into application utility, is much lower for the outfits. So the common ones, they'll be going as low as like $11 in equivalent. You have to pay in Mona. That's the other thing, is we're introducing Mona payments now for the outfits, but they'll be as low as $11. So I'll let anyone to come in and start paying. And then semi-rare, it's a bit higher from that. And then exclusive, they're auctioned. So that's really, again, for just catering to the whole market, from, higher buyers to then not letting, these big barrier to entries, which we are seeing as well with a lot of NFTs. And that today, it's about, squeezing a lot of people out that really want to come in. And when you're doing an ecosystem that's functionality and application based, then it's really important that, anyone can really come in. So yeah, beta test is completely open. All you have to do is just go on the Digitalax marketplace, buy one of these items if you want to be in the battles, and then come into our system, go on the Esper website, and we'll have all these instructions live when on a marketplace as well. So we're changing a lot of that up. Get one of these NFTs, go in, and then start playing, and you'll be scored. You'll be scored in the tournaments. We'll tell you all how it works. And so it's something really exciting. I mean, I love these outfits anyway, just because I think that they're so cute, and then nothing like what's been in Among Us or that before. So something really different and super exciting. So yeah, please, tell anyone, just come in. You don't have to, do anything crazy. The sale will start tomorrow. So we'll be listing them live on the marketplace tomorrow. The instant buy ones, and then the auction. The auction will run for a number of days, so that will finish, mid next week. And then once the auction is finished, that's when we'll actually enable the esports battles to then go live to make sure it's kind of that fair access event there as well. But yeah, people can start buying from as early as tomorrow on the marketplace these cool, cute little items. So it's definitely something really exciting there.
Do you play Among Us?
Actually, yes, I do. So I don't really have time to play too much, but since we started, working on all of this and getting everything together is start of February, and it was, just as big then. And a lot of this involved going on a few streams, because really what the bigger part of all this as well was, like I said, how do you mass adopt for players and developers and the broader ecosystem that aren't in NFTs yet? How do you use this, what we're doing, as a really amazing opportunity to have a reason to, say to people, well, this is why NFTs, it's such a amazing industry for players and creators. This is why it unlocks the player creator economy. And so this is what we really wanted to do, was use it as an opportunity for mass adoption for players who are, veteran gamers, but often first-time crypto users. How do we use this as a way to really onboard them? And this is why we chose Among Us as the first event as well, because it's such a cultural moment. It's such a ubiquitous, in many gamers' lives, this is how they're connecting. This is, it was big because of the pandemic as well. That definitely enforced, heuristic to play. But more than that, it's such it's such a connection point for them. So we really wanted to tap right into that heart and that culture and go to these gamers and give them a reason, just because they love the game, to say, well, perhaps I'll try out NFTs. Perhaps I'll understand that crypto isn't scammy, because I can tell you, I actually released an article yesterday, which is a really interesting read. And it was just talking about everything that's happening in the industry now, from, sustainability perspective, with a lot of people saying, well, it's unsustainable and demonizing NFTs. And then more than that, they're, demonizing now, saying, well, it's a scam, and they're trying to, take over creators and all of this stuff, which is incorrect. And when you look really at the industry, these people are only saying that because they read just a silly newspaper, and they don't bother to really understand what's going on, what innovation is being brought. And so really, I wrote that article just to kind of address some of those issues, because I faced, going into these gaming communities, and, you're going into these sometimes 3,000, 4,000, even 12,000 communities, and you're talking with them about what you're doing and why it's important and why they should be interested in it, or how it can change their lives. And some of them really get it. Others, they want to jump to conclusions and demonize it because they just don't understand yet, which is really unfortunate. And it's not something to, blame anyone, but it's also something that they should be held accountable if they're going to spread misinformation. And this is really what, I want to use Esper and Digitalax to do, is to use digital fashion and gaming as a way to onboard and call people out as well for their misinformation about this. So I'll quickly answer these questions as well. So any other thoughts on other games? Yes, we actually already have other games in the lineup. I won't give them all away now, but really exciting stuff that is quick to deploy, stuff that may be, 2 months out now, just because making the digital fashion items for some of these games, when it's really high quality 3D, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. So we've really, gone full into this, and we have a flow and a pipeline of coming to make sure we can have that additional content coming in. And also what we're doing is, which is really exciting, is we're making sure that we're embedding this in a way, and this is why I said at the start, why we're focused on indie developers so much and the modding ecosystem, because they're always undervalued, they're always discarded, and no one really cares about them too much. How do we give them a platform to come in, have a well-defined utility that's outside of their current game economy? It doesn't have to affect what they're doing in the current game economy. They can still go in with that. But how do we allow them another way to access NFTs, access the market, access another well-defined interest for players to come in and think, well, okay, maybe I usually wouldn't play this content, this indie content, or know about it, But because I want to, go on these casual esports battles, and I want to earn an income stream, I'll go in and I'll test it out and I'll play. So another, well-defined utility for them. So we have a lot of that there. And going back to my point was that we're really highlighting a lot of, indie devs within the ecosystem, even really young studios where we're talking with, like, kids in a sense that just develop games and they really want to get in. Well, Esper is all about that. How do you allow them a stepping stone in? Which is something really exciting there as well. And then it says how these NFTs purchased. So it'll be using Mona token, and it'll be on the Matic network. So you come onto our marketplace. We have like a little toggle that we've introduced, which flips you between Matic and ETH mainnet. So these will be listed on Matic just because of the transaction fees, and that it's much, we couldn't really ask players to say, hey, come on board, first time using crypto, and then pay $80 for, maybe $11 outfit. It just doesn't make sense. So that's really why we went on Matic. But it will be a toggle, and then you can just set up, if you have MetaMask, set up your Matic connection through that. It's extremely simple to go on Matic. We also have a full token bridge that we've built out, so it will allow you to you can buy your Mona token on Uniswap, on ETH, and then bridge it over, or you can go and directly buy it on QuickSwap, which is the Matic decentralized exchange, and then you can use that within our ecosystem, and you can bridge it back and forth between layer 1 and layer 2. And the really exciting thing is the first 2,000 players, they each get 2 Matic free, which is like around 200 transactions, if not more, free within our network. So that's really exciting too. So yeah, you have to go and get Mona. You can either get it directly on Matic, or you can go through Ethereum first. And if you already hold Mona, then you just bridge that from Ethereum to Matic, which takes a couple of minutes to just go through that. And we have that set up on a UI on our site as well. So yeah, they're the main ones. I'll see if, where's the Dota players at? Well, don't be so, asking questions yet. It will come soon. We've had conversations there too. And Rust, yes, that's a big game that we looked at. It's a huge, got a huge ecosystem, and we're on top of all of that as well. So just see if there's, ETH gas fees, they are good now, but ETH gas, exactly. So it was really that thing as well. Like, we don't want to have players blocked out financially. And this is why, the commons as well, it's really something that we thought a lot about the pricing and how to bring it in, because it's a fine line. Like, we have to also make sure that the ecosystem is sustainable, because the whole point is that, the profit streams are going out between and this is how it's split. And we would do, every time we're very transparent. I mean, to give guys that just don't know too much about Digitalax, so we release a transparency report every month, which tells exactly how the funds of our treasury were spent. We keep that very transparent. We keep all invoices, everything that, like, every down to a cent of how everything is used, and it's calculated up and recorded and scored. And then we also, when we released the Mona token, we, as a team, we took no allocation. So we took a 0% allocation from the Mona token. 10% went towards the treasury, which is then what is keeping sustainability, so a project we can involve in R&D and bring new concepts for. And then 90% went towards staking rewards, which is when you buy an outfit and you have a Genesis Mona token, which was our initial NFT distribution. It allows you to stake this, and also the Mona LP token to stake this and then have that distributed. And we brought in that to really have a fair distribution for everyone to come in the ecosystem, because we're wanting to build it out as this player creator economy that, really allows developers, designers, and players to come in and access and start getting value for themselves. So, we do it really fairly, and this was a big thing. Well, how do we make sure financially it's fairly for people to come on? Because, our previous auctions, they are priced up a lot, and that was, shocking from us. I know in November, it was super unexpected getting the first sales for that first auction, and moving into this now, it's a different model, because it's not about a cosmetic art, quote unquote, auction. Now it's about functionality. So, we put them as the commons are selling at $11, which how we're doing it is that distribution between, the exclusives, allowing people to come on, because these are single edition, like the single edition first Genesis ones, well, allowing for those on that bell curve to compensate for the lower prices within common and semi-rare as well, which was something that we really looked into, is how do we keep that sustainability, so then anyone can come in and play and not be locked out, but then how do we still allow so we can have the liquidity within the ecosystem, so there can be, the designers can be paid back like, Kota Medachi and Charlie Khan for their work? How can the developers like Woody with the Sheriff Mod be paid back for the development work that he did? And then how can the winning players be, given that income stream, that opportunity there, and not it be like something super small like what we see with Twitch, where it's like they've got to stream for like 24 hours a day and still they get nothing. So that side as well, how do we keep that? And then how it's split, it's between the profit distribution between the designers, the developers, and the winning players, and that's pretty even. It's a really large amount actually, and it's even. I forget the ones for the Among Us, but we'll be posting that anyway so everyone can see. And then amount also goes to the Treasury for sustainability, which really goes back to the someone saying I hardly understand this. I can go back into more details, but that goes back into the Treasury for R&D. And then also there's a split between the Mono token holders and the Genesis Mono holders. So also if you hold Mono token, you're also incentivized within the ecosystem to keep holding because you're going to keep getting this additional profit distribution through us. So that's something there that we also have within our tokenomics. And the additional stage to this is that not for this first beta, but as we grow out, the Mono token holders and the Genesis Mono token holders, this was very much always a governance as well, governance exercise and right that holding Mono allowed you within our ecosystem. So we'll start introducing more of these governance concepts within ESPA, within the ecosystem, which is really exciting things from, being able to actually vote on this profit distribution itself. So, as Mono token holders in the future, you'll actually be able to decide, well, depending on this game, this is how much should be split between the developers, designers, the players, the Mono holders, the Genesis Mono holders, and the Treasury. So it'll be up to the holders to actually, come to a consensus and decide on that. And really, we're handing that off. And then more, really cool governance things that we're bringing in, like even later, we've been speaking with a lot of brands, and later kind of components and features to the ecosystem will be about how do you allow digital fashion brands to actually sponsor players in the game, so they can actually, you could be a player and you could be sponsored wearing Gucci in your game and get more of a livelihood from that. Just like, now today, Serena Williams, she wears Nike in the matches. She actually gets, it's a good gift, Zandy. But yeah, Serena Williams, she actually gets, paid out for that, and she can earn a living through the brand sponsorship side. So it's like, how do we actually bring that into a natively digital way through here as well, and enforce, further sustainability through leveraging off these bigger players and the liquidity that they have there too. So that's from that side. Does anyone else have any other questions? Yes, if it's hard, so I can quickly just recap. But I will also send some links now in the chat of our articles that we released that give a really good understanding of what we're doing. I know that there's a lot there. And there's a lot there because there has to be a lot there, because what we're building out is really, it's an ecosystem. And I wrote about this a little bit in one of the posts that we did, but we're not just going from the approach of just a project or just a protocol, that it's really about how do you build out an ecosystem between designers, developers, and players. And then in order to do that, well, you have to have all these components, because although it might seem, well, it's adding additional layers or additional parts to it, without those parts, the whole thing would fall apart. So you've got to, it's a fine line between how do you do it in an incremental and modular way, but then also ensuring that all the key components are there too. This question here, I want to learn how to bridge. Right, sure. So what will happen, Portal J, on our ESPA website, you'll see now that it says, and we'll be, releasing a lot of content through this to making sure that it's cycled through everyone. But you go on ESPA and you can see now there's that big button in the middle saying play now. You click on that, and instead of saying coming soon, it will take you through this whole like A and B flow, like a yes and no thing of like, have you done this? Yes, no, this is, and it will take you through a whole thing about like, depending on where you're at, if you're on Matic, you're not on Matic, if you have cryptocurrency before, you don't have cryptocurrency before, it will take you through a whole flow of really how to get into the ecosystem and start playing. We'll be going live with that really soon, just enabling that functionality when we're live in the marketplace too. And we have the game ready for install there as well, which means it'll be really easy for anyone to come on board and start interacting and start playing. So we tried to make it as simple and easy as possible for, no matter what stage you're at, if you're, like I said, a first-time crypto user, or you're already, trading on Matic, hundreds a day or thousands a day, then you can come in from any access point. So that's a really important part there as well. So just stay tuned for that. But we'll be release everything from our Medium, from our Discord, from our Telegrams, from our Twitter. So if you're in our social medias, you're in our groups, and then just stay up to date with that. Also, maybe I'll just make a quick announcement where I have people on there. My Discord, I actually got locked out on a 2FA thing yesterday, and I can't get back in because my authenticator app is on another phone, which isn't working at the moment. It broke actually, and then my 8-digit backup codes, that none of them are like, I used all of the single ones, and this was like the next time I log in, I was going to do the re-download, and it's like, of course it happened because of then, and I can't get back in. And so I'm actually on a new Discord account. So if I'm messaging anyone or that, or you can see me in now, and the annoying thing is I can't even the servers that we own, I can't even get back in as a server owner for, because we also have an Esper Discord, by the way, which I'll post here for people to join. So this is actually, we split up between a Digitalax and an Esper server as well on purpose, just to keep things really clean as we're building everything out. So I'll paste this, everyone, but join our Esper server as well, because this is where we keep a lot of the more native Esper stuff up to date. So we've got a lot of people in this server, a lot of these native players, which is really exciting. But yeah, so if anyone sees this new username that I have, it's everything's exactly the same, just my number's different. Messaging on here that it is me. It's just that I've been locked out, and Discord has very silly policies to make sure that you cannot get back in pretty much if you get locked out. So I don't know how long I'll be locked out. It could be months. So they're the main things. I'll go back into the chat if there's any more questions, but they're the main part of the main parts of everything that we're doing. So if you guys are interested to come in and engage with Esper, engage with what we're doing, support Kota and that, please free ask any questions. My favorite outfit, I actually really love this one. This is actually my favorite, I think. If you guys can still see my screen, I can take a screenshot and send it in the chat as well. But definitely this one here. So they actually have really cool, I don't even think it loaded. Okay, they have really cool and cute names, all of them. And I think this one was called, I can't remember. Cannot remember, but we will have them on our marketplace. But yeah, I love this one. But it was actually a really fun process creating these. So it was a group chat on Discord between myself, Charlie, Kota Medachi, and then, we'd go back and forth of saying to do this and that. And this is where we came up, with the really cool, witch, nose outfits and these kind of witch masks and that. So yeah, it was a really fun process, a really creative process. And really exciting because it's giving back to, and I can even may as well show you guys while we're on here. So Kota Medachi, this is her. So she's a really true gamer. She has these really gamer profiles. So you can see here, she does, talk about a lot that she does live in very poor financial condition with her family. And she's using her talent to, try and break through with that. So this is what we really wanted to do with Esper, and why reached out to her back in February, early Feb, and have been, engaging with her throughout all of this. And I'd love to even invite her on a stream and invite her in here to, and she's got 50,000 subs actually on YouTube. So she's not, she's doing really well actually in terms of really breaking out. And this was only recent. I know in February she had only 20,000. So she posts check out her YouTube actually. It's really cute. Yeah, there we go. There's Kota Medachi. She's done really, cool videos, and this is all of her mods that she does, all of the graphic ones. She done a number for Among Us and that. So yeah, she only started the YouTube 2 months ago. So they're really creative, really cool videos. Actually, I was watching some of them, you can see the other day. But yeah, so we partnered with her, and she's great. Yeah, there we go. Official Medachi there. There's her Twitter. Yeah, only 2 months ago. So she's an amazing creator. And this is the whole thing with Esper as well. How do we lift up these people more within the gaming community and these younger people that just love what they're doing and they do it for the love of the game, but they don't have a platform now for exposure. And also from a financial side, even though that's not the core, but it is a barrier for many people. And it's how do you bring liquidity for them and just allow it in an ecosystem to be how any ecosystem should run. You give something and then you can take something back from it. And this is really what we're carrying out here. And then Woody, so he was the dev of the Sheriff mod. This is his GitHub. We also highlighted that in our ecosystem, in our article, sorry. So here we go. So we partner with him so you can follow him. I think his followers went up a little bit since we posted, but he's great. He's based in Germany. And he worked with us because we're also bringing in this whole concept as well of player access cards, which are these kind of like flare boxes. And actually, this is something that I should talk about that we haven't officially released on yet, but we will be, and it's super exciting. And I'm sure a lot of people will be really interested. So we're also doing kind of gift pack things within what we're releasing as different products as part of Esper as well. And one of them is, and within this gift pack, there's a number of different components. One of them is called a player access card. And what this allows is when people purchase this gift box and they use the player access card, it's in our system. We recognize that they hold that within their wallet, within our authentication system. And then in-game, they get like an extra flair. So it's not an in-game bonus or like a play to win, but it's an extra flair where it's like something unique. So for example, within Among Us, they get a higher chance of being the imposter because everyone loves to be the imposter within the game. So they get that in-game flair. Then another part of it that they're getting is actually something really cool, which is Kota Medachi is making one more outfit, a really cool outfit of a pattern that's actually going to be issued on-chain as part of the Digitalax material pattern and texture libraries that we've been building out, since December last year. It's a new pattern that Kota Medachi and Charlie Cohen and Digitalax, we all collaborated on. Kota Medachi is going to be making one more Among Us outfit that will be just within people that have these gift pack boxes that will then can be taken in game as well. And then Charlie Cohen is actually going to be making a physical compatible item of it using that pattern as well within a really cool physical unisex like jacket. So that's something super exciting that I'll be releasing on soon. But an extra, addition to all of this was how do you ensure fashion is still at the core? How do you carry out this digital physical, digi-fizzy hybrid of a supply chain? And we're doing that, through the patterns and materials and on-chain texture libraries that we have within Digitalax where they're issued. And what this means is when Charlie Cohen is doing this issuance as a, digital fashion digital material or texture or pattern, on-chain kind of issuance, when she's doing that, what that means under our system is this pattern is now open sourced. And the monetization is also enforced within it because of the authenticity and the transparency of NFTs and what they allow. So what that means is that this pattern can now be leveraged by other designers through our ecosystem and through Esper, and they can come in and they can use these patterns within their designs. And then the monetization feedback ensures that the original pattern creator, which was Charlie Cohen and Kota Medachi in this point, that they get that royalty distribution back there as well throughout any of these garments, which is amazing because a huge part of, Digitalax and what we always wanted to enforce and bring is how do you inject open source into fashion? And NFTs allows you to do that because of their features and functionalities of allowing, authenticity along a supply chain and verification at that. So we're also bringing in that part through the patterns. And also, just one more thing, which is really important, is why we went through the pattern as being this constant thread line between the digital and physical components is because digital fashion is so different to physical fashion. It's not bound by real world physics. It's not bound by these constraints. And so if you're going to just do something where it's like create the, digital jacket version and then create the physical, well, it actually, hinders a lot what you can do creatively with the digital side, because digitally you can do absolutely anything and you can do all these crazy things. And often physical garments, when you bring them into digital, they kind of look boring or plain. You've got to do something a little bit different. So this is what we're making sure as well as we're not, and this is a scalable model for the future as we work with more fashion brands and more of the physical fashion space, is making sure when they come on board, it's like, well, it's, in some ways we're actually asking them, well, if you come on into digital now, this is the new way you've got to do it. You've got to open source. You've got to make sure that, you're following this new monetization and royalty model, because that's the fair way and the right way of doing it. So making sure that they come through that with their pattern issuance, but making sure it's fair as well. So when they're issuing patterns, they're still getting that royalty back. It's not just, taking and it's making sure there's that even give and take. And then they're going in that open source model. They're going in that monetization model. They're allowing, exposure for the rest of the designers within the ecosystem. And then on top of that, we're not also hindering from, that physical digital component as well. You create your physical component that's under that open source licensing and that monetization as well. But then the digital component can still be really crazy, but it incorporates the pattern to show that thread line. So that's really an exciting part as well that I'll be officially releasing on within a day or so. That we've been working really hard on there. So these are these extra packs that will just bring an extra kind of component of showcasing the artist talent and showing that digital physical hybrid supply chain, which is really was always a bigger part as well, was how do we do this in a scalable and sustainable way. I know that we're coming to the end of the stream, so thank you so much, Sandy, for having me on. I think they're the main parts that we really wanted to get on and talk about. And as I said, we had the official partnership with Matic, which was really exciting, and have that as the airdrop, which will be taking place for those first 2,000 registered players, and then going from there. So if anyone's excited and interested to take place in the ecosystem, what we're doing, please just, stay up to date in our Discords and our channels. We'll be releasing more through there, and the marketplace component, and then also the Esper component. And we're making it really easy for bridging and everything like that to make sure that everyone knows exactly how to get into Matic as well. It won't be some scary thing, and that comes from any angle. So thank you so much, Sandy, as always, for having me on. If you have any questions, that just hit up our Discord to that as well. Harry and I will reply. Otherwise, hope to see you in Esper and what we're doing there. It's some really cool and new stuff to the NFT ecosystem and industry. So thank you, Sandy. I think I'll stop it there unless anyone has any other questions. Meaning of Esper. Actually, it's an interesting story. So just to be completely transparent, it doesn't actually it's not an acronym. How it actually started. So back in December last year, when I was starting to think about this stuff, actually I was planning to, so I always had this idea of like bringing all of this in, but it was never as clear. It became more clear in January after having the data of our initial distribution with NFTs with Digitalax. But how it actually was, I was talking with someone here. We were actually going to start here in San Francisco a like esports hacker space. We were going to do that. That would then eventually lead into, what we're doing with Digitalax. It was going to be like a physical space where we'd work with a lot of the gaming hacker group here. And then the whole thing was my thing, well, how do we actually, make gamers interested to come into our hackerspace? And this is what it was like, well, we should introduce esports and we should give them like, something to work towards. They can showcase their content within esports and integrate NFTs and what we're doing with Digitalax. So then, it was just randomly from that, like esports, taking the E and the S. And then I think I just randomly said, oh, why don't we just call it Esper? It's just like a throwaway thing. So it has no real significance, but I think it's kind of Spanish. Maybe it has something there. I think someone told me once it means something good there. So can't give you like a really great story for that one. But thank you so much, guys. If there's no more questions, I'll leave it as that. Thank you, Sandy, as always, for having me on. And if you have any questions or that, just reach out to us. We're quite approachable. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest of the day or rest of the evening if you're in Europe. Bye, guys.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Emma, and the whole team. And we'll be dropping links so you guys can stay connected. And as you mentioned, super, super approachable. If you have any questions, please, please, please reach out to Emma, to Harry. They are always available in the Discord, in the chat, in the Twitter, in all of the links. So just make sure to follow and stay updated with all the information. And thank you so much for the update. I'm super excited for all of it, and I'm super into Among Us, so I'm definitely going to be getting some of those skins for sure. The whip is today, guys, so we will be waiting for that. I'm going to be putting a little bit of music, and today we're going to do something a little bit different for the pre-party of the whip. It's going to be meditation with Foxy Yoga. So we're going to be having guided meditation at 11:30, 30 minutes before the whip. So that is 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. UTC. So 30 minutes before those times, we'll be having a guided meditation by yours truly, Foxy Yoga. Yes, Foxy Yoga will be guiding us into the whip today. So don't miss that, and let's play some music.